Good evening, everyone. This is the School Building Committee meeting for Auburn, November 17th, 7 o'clock. I ask if this meeting is being recorded, and ask if anybody else is recording it. See none. Okay, so I'd like to open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Seeing none, moving on to the next item, is approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting, which are in the packages and are attached here. Entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
And a second.
Yes, second.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, just, maybe I just initialed something, dated something incorrectly. But on here, the previous meeting, we had Article 6. I thought we had briefly discussed Article 10, because I remember, because the meeting was coming up on the 21st. And I remember talking about the selectmen and approved it, but the finance committee didn't. And then you made some comments about, I believe, these were on a piece of paper that I had dated 10/14, so I'm not sure if that took place back a month or so. But my only comment was if there was anything discussed, it didn't show up in the minutes. That's all.
I don't believe.
Just, the young lady that does these minutes does a tremendous job, so
It's
I...
actually me, I did it.
The old man that might have fouled them up.
Yeah, but so what I do is I usually go back, right, I'll watch the video link for it, and I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything, it was really basically a general inquiry, because it was coming up at the town meeting on October 21st.
Yeah.
And I know I wrote down...
Is that just about the wording of the article itself?
No, it was just, I asked about the monies, and you commented that I believe that these monies are already part of it.
It's part of the overall budget, right?
And it was just a concern that the the select board had approved the article. The finance committee had postponed anything, and I believe, I think Dr. Mary Ellen over there commented on that particular. So anyhow.
Yeah, the night of the town meeting, the finance committee did acknowledge their acceptance of that.
We're talking about October 14th.
Okay.
And I was just saying that Article 6, there was some discussion, and it didn't show up in the minutes, that's all. And it was nothing significant.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the finance committee did put it on hold because at the time it still said a sum of money. So we held off until the night of the town meeting when we actually had a dollar figure.
Okay.
Okay, the minutes have been
Any other comments on it?
seconded, so we'll go from there.
Any other comments, questions?
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Staying.
All right, 2 abstains, and all those opposed? Those are approved. All right, on to the next item is general updates. Ms. Skanska is up first with building project, West Street, contingency, and change order stuff.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Neil Davis with Skanska. Run through quickly some highlights of the building project. October was a very productive month on site. It was the first month that work in place exceeded $3 million. And even with more manpower and more activity on site, the project site remains safe, clean, and very well coordinated. So the Fontaine team is doing a great job on site, and you know, they deserve credit for maintaining a good, well-coordinated job site even with the increased activity. So nice job, guys. Couple of quick exterior highlights. The roof is tight. There's still some miscellaneous penetrations and flashings going on. The windows have been completed in the classroom wing. They still continue to do some painting and sealants, but the windows, for all intents and purposes, are complete. The skylight was completed in October and early November. And the canopies just started this week, so they'll start to show you what the finished product of the exterior is going to look like. Inside the building, drywall continues in the classroom wing. They've hung most of it. It's being finished and taped, and we should be seeing prime paint in the next couple of days. Also completed early in November was the installation of the temp heat. So the temp heat is running, and it's going to it's going to maintain the temperature in the building so that finishes can continue through the winter months. Couple of quick highlights on the MSBA. We got the First Amendment to the project funding agreement executed during October. We submitted budget revision request number 1, which was the change order 1. That's been submitted. We're waiting for the signed copy to come back. We also have the monthly site visit. The MSBA will be out this Thursday afternoon for their regular site visit. West Street update. The designer VHB went in front of the Conservation Commission on the 10th. The hearing has been continued to December 10th, but I did speak to Brian from VHB today, and he said that as long as they get approval on December 10th, it won't delay anything on the design. They're continuing to work. Verizon has...
Excuse me, just on that subject, what was the purpose of the delay?
They had a question on the culvert, and they actually did a site walk this past Saturday and looked at the culvert in person, and VHB was confident that there wouldn't be any issues at the December 10th hearing, but when they presented their design, there were some questions regarding the culvert. Verizon has submitted their poll petition, and they're going in front of the Board of Selectmen on November 24th. Once the poll petition is accepted, then it's just a matter of getting Verizon paid, and they can schedule and start the work of relocating the poles. Back in October, on the 21st, town meeting approved the land takings associated with the West Street project and the temporary and permanent easements. So that's all set. So right now, it's really the Conservation Commission and the poll petition. The third...
Before you go on, what's the revised date for getting out on the street with the plans?
VHB is still saying by the end of the year they're going to have the design complete and ready to go out to bid. The third item on the agenda is actually the reallocation of money for the FF&E budget. If it's okay, I think we should probably push that back and tackle it all with Eric's FF&E presentation.
Yep. And
then the last item was just change order 2 was part of the packet. It's 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 changes, mostly small dollar changes that have been approved by the team, and this is just more for informational purposes to show what the values and corresponding changes that will make up change order number 2 for the contract.
Mr. Chairman, on that particular point, is that, in looking at the summary of the numbers, it's gone up from the, by that $60,000, is that anything significant? I mean, we're looking at the change order number and
It's change order number 2.
yes.
Number 1 was changing out the flooring systems and stuff.
Well, I'm just looking at the bottom, but I look
Right.
at numbers,
Yep.
the verbiage.
That's
And we started out with the 33,655, we cut it up to the 33,863, and now it's gone up by that $60,000 to 33,923. Still well within the budget, but
Within the budget, and there's still a pretty healthy contingency
yeah,
value.
okay, thank you.
I think we're roughly, between these two, that's 266, let's say. And the owner contingency is, we have over $1 million in an owner contingency line, so that's all we've taken out of that so far, so.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I just, on the change order, is Fontaine gonna be going over the change orders, or should we address the issues?
If you want him to go through and review either,
It was just the PR number 6 RO system, water system. What was that all about? It just seems like, was there a problem with water quality?
I can address that if you like. The water, as you probably all know, the water in Auburn is really hard, has a lot of minerals, and the food service equipment is susceptible to that. The things like steamers and other equipment. We had a local system specified for that, a filtration system. And that was bid out with the contract, so you owned that. After the project was out to bid already and priced and everything, we heard back from that vendor saying that it was not good enough for the water that you have here. You needed a more robust system, and it was proposed to provide instead a reverse osmosis system, and that's really the difference between the two. The cost is the difference between those two systems.
Is it just for specific areas like the kitchen, or is it throughout the building?
It's just for specific pieces of equipment in the building. We also have a water softening system in the building, but again, that covers just general.
Mainly has to do with the hardness of the water.
Right. It doesn't address things to the point that it would lengthen the life of the kitchen equipment, the steamers and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Skanska right now, or?
No, I'd just like to make a mention on the change order total today with about 40% roughly of the building completed. We're not even at 1% for change orders, so I think things are going very, very well now. It may help you answer your question.
Yeah, the percent completed at the last requisition was 43%.
43%, and it's not even 1%, probably 0.7%, roughly. And the hard part's pretty much over, isn't it? I mean,
ground, the
where the
building's
guesses would be,
tightening up, yeah.
You know, oh, we didn't know that, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All set?
All right, thanks. All right, next up is Eric and LPA's update and FF&E.
So I had intended to be here at the last meeting, but was unable to due to being ill, but FF&E covers a lot of purchasing. It's FF&E stands for fixtures, furnishings, and equipment, and we lump a lot into that. It includes all of the tables and desks and chairs that go into the building. It includes all the technology, computers, both student and teacher computers, things like projectors for each classroom, athletic equipment for the fields. There's quite a bit in there. It's a pretty comprehensive list, and in this case, we also have things in there like the servers and the telephone system. When the project budget was established, MSBA has a formula for setting that budget, and they allow $2,400 per student. That's what they'll reimburse. We actually increased it at a little bit beyond that at the early stages. So we had $672,000 for furniture, $672,000 for technology and other equipment, and then an additional $234,000 for other servers and switches and the telephone system. So we were slightly beyond MSBA's $2,400 per student for a total of $1,578,000. Since then, we've been in touch.
Can I stop you? We didn't make copies for everybody?
Yeah, that might be helpful. I should have been prepared with that.
I noticed it wasn't in the package.
You have a clean copy, Mark, or-
No, I wrote on mine.
I apologize for that. I should have had copies.
Good, you may want to hold for a second while they... Just the...
Somewhere, just the top somewhere?
Yeah, just the, yeah.
Sorry.
The process that I can describe a little bit about the process we went through to get to where we're at now. We have a consultant, an FF&E consultant, and in conjunction with the district and the department heads, we had a number of meetings, and you may recall that we had ordered sample furniture and polled the teachers and students on that. So that started to develop the type of furnishings that would go into the building. We've also had a number of meetings with the technology department to see what sort of technology was required, and it was decided that each student would get a device, a 1-to-1 ratio, so that every student in the building would be equipped with some sort of a device, not necessarily a laptop, but more of a tablet type device, like an iPad. And we also looked at what the teachers were looking for specifically in special areas like music and art, what type of copiers would be needed. And we developed more or less a wish list by department, and we've compiled that list, and that brings us to today with our total amount, which exceeds the target budget. And in a moment I'll explain why that's the case. This This also includes things like appliances for the building, you know, refrigerators and various classrooms and spaces, science prep rooms, all the cafeteria furniture, as well as musical instruments.
Well, you already have it. Yeah, that working.
So you can see it in this, does everyone have a copy now? You can see in this, the target, the first column is a category, so we have basically technology, furniture, and equipment for a total of $1.578 million. And you can see the allowance, the MSB allowance, the actual MSBA allowance of $2,400 per student is the $672 and $672. Our budget based on the wish list of all the departments at this point is the $2.034 million, which is over by approximately $457,000. So the reason for this, first of all, the $2,400 per student allowance has not changed since MSBA initiated this program in 2008. There's been no increases for escalation. So in 2008, that was an adequate amount of money to equip a school. The one-to-one ratio that I talked about, the technology student to device, was not initially a requirement. The idea initially was that we would have some laptops on carts. Every student would not necessarily have a device. We're also planning, although the student body was approved at 560 students, I believe right now you're closer to 600, and we're accommodating 600, a total of 600 students with things like technology devices, tables and chairs and that sort of thing. Last couple of reasons, the music department budget is higher than what we usually see, having to do with things like new instruments, and the last item is product availability. Where we used to specify a lot of local manufacturers, companies like Columbia from Westfield, we've recently had some issues with those companies, and they're no longer providing the level of quality that our clients are requiring, and some of the alternatives to that are more expensive. So we're starting to see that. So all in all, this puts us, as I said, about $457,000 above that target budget. I will say that out of that, there is about a little over $100,000 in lower priority music equipment items, things that could be called, tier 2 or tier 3 purchases that you could defer until later in the process, until you know exactly where your budget is. There is, I don't know if Dale, you want to weigh in on the some of the other schools that you've seen, but
yeah, I can tell you that usually, like Yeah, I can tell you, usually the furniture budget's around 3,200 to 3,800. If you do the math, it's about 3,600 per student. Again, this is budget numbers, so I think you're right in the middle of most schools. Like one right now, we're spending about 3,800 per student. Per enrollment number is actually what you use, not the student, but the enrollment. So I think you're right in where you should be.
And we're confident at this point that we have pretty, you know, we've been through the departments, through this process of polling the departments. We feel that we're confident that we have everything needed in here. There is a contingency of about $64,000 in this budget. And again, as I said, it also includes the higher, or the lower priority music items. Having said that, I'd recommend that you equip this school with as much as you can at this point. This is the one opportunity to purchase and outfit this school. Money has been allotted. There is money in the budget for this, where, as we noted with the contingencies, we have 3 contingencies. We have, I think, about $1 million each in the total project contingency and construction contingency. There's also, how much in, there's also a GM, I'm sorry, I'm getting the contingencies confused, but there's an additional owner's contingency of 300?
343,000. So this spreadsheet, which is, I think, the 5th page back in your packet, was the part of my presentation that we kind of deferred. Over the past couple of weeks, not knowing exactly where the budget was going to come in, we looked at certain contingencies and certain line item savings that Fontaine offered up to kind of reallocate some money so that we could cover these FF&E items. So we were anticipating an overage of $370,000. That's what this spreadsheet with the 5 columns shows. Fontaine dug through their allowances and other line item savings that they already had within the job and offered some of those up, as well as offering up over $195,000 from their GMP contingency, that they feel comfortable letting that money go at this stage of the project. So what this spreadsheet shows is it shows a couple of construction line item savings that are all in red. It shows $70,000 at this time coming out of the owner's contingency, which is the $343,000 that Eric was just talking about. And then it shows the add of $370,000 in the equipment line item. So you'll see that that was increased. That $370,000 is going to be non-reimbursable. It's going to be 100% paid by Auburn because it's over the $1,200 per student. But this was how we looked at reallocating the funds to cover the FF&E budget. Now the budget is roughly $86,000 higher than the $370 that we were looking at. If you wanted to go for the whole thing, you could take additional monies out of the owner contingency, but it would be about $86,000 more.
All right.
So you have to do that right now.
Huh?
Leave it as it is.
Well, just to go back, the target budget that Eric was talking about, the 1,578, that was always in the number, the 44,511,234. That's the number that was in there that we carried. That was over that's already at 2,008 per student basically of the enrollment number. So we were already over the the base a lot, MSBA allowance that we were looking at. There's a couple things that we could do. I mean, we could accept it all and say that we're gonna take so based on his revised, and we're taking the $300,000 out of, or back from Fontaine, leaves us with the $156,700 that we take out of the contingency and fund everything. Or we could take another step back and say all the music priorities 2 and 3, which equate to about $102,633. Defer that for a few months until we figure out how West Street's coming, how the rest of the project's coming, because it's not as long lead item. All the furnishings and stuff are the longer lead items that we really need to get out there on. And we did kind of the same stuff with the high school. We, waited on some of the stuff and added stuff at the end when we knew we had more monies and stuff. So if we did that, and we took out the 102,633, I think we'd be looking at about 54,067 coming out of the owner contingency right now, with the 300 coming back from the CM side of everything. So it's all still working inside the whole big master numbers, but
Have the FF&E been bid, any part of it bid out?
no, this is just all numbers right
Conceivably
now.
come in less than this.
They will come in pretty close to that. The technology, I think, might come in a little better, but a lot of this is bought off of state bid list, so you know exactly
what the
what
numbers are.
what you're spending on it, and that way you know exactly what you're getting too, so you can.
But even minus the 70, it was still 274,000 in owner's contingency, so I don't see any problem, difficult.
My only question is, the numbers that MSBA has allowed, and you said they haven't changed the numbers since, what,
2008.
2008. Is there any concern that they would accept this new figure, even though it's part of
Well,
the general project?
As
They'll reimburse up to the 2,400 per student. They'll reimburse on that, but anything beyond the 2,400 is considered non-reimbursable.
It's like their cap on the site work. They'll only only 8% of the
Total construction
the
cost.
total construction cost is eligible for site costs, but any project typically exceeds that by quite a bit, and it's the same with the FF&E. They'll let you purchase additional fixtures, furnishings, and equipment, but they will not reimburse above and beyond that $2,400 per student.
Yeah, and we did check with the MSBA to confirm that it was okay moving contingency to fund this, and they were fine with it.
And I would just add, as was noted, you're a little under 1% change orders, and that was with a pretty significant change order for the linoleum flooring too, which was a requested change, and that's, so I think we're in pretty good shape in terms of being out of the ground. With the windows, most of the windows are in, the roof is all on. We're not seeing that. There are some items out there, and I'm sure there'll be some betterments as we go along. Things that will be asked to be added in. But I'm feeling pretty confident that we'll be well under 3% for the change orders.
Any other questions, discussions?
Keep going.
Yeah. Well, I think we should probably, if everybody's in agreement, then I think we should probably put a motion out and vote on it and stuff so that we can keep the stuff moving forward and get the furnishing purchased, start the purchasing process for it. So it's a question of go for if everybody's comfortable going for the entire budget, the $2,034,700, or
Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the the 11-14 F&E budget of $2,034,700.
I'll second that.
Okay. Questions, discussions? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That's approved.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Since 2008, there hasn't been a change in the 2,400. But let's just say, 6 months from now, they make a change. Will we benefit from that change?
Probably not.
They are making changes. For example, the build-out square footage cost has increased. You guys are at 275, it's now at 287. So apparently they're going through it all. The 2,400 apparently, is my understanding that districts have furniture that is moving to the new school, because it may be 2 or 3 years old. So, for what it's worth.
I stop and think of it, 2,400 is kind of a low number per student. I mean, it's not just a desk
It's
and a
better
chair.
than nothing, right?
I was gonna say.
Okay. Well, shut up.
I mean, it's, yeah, everybody's playing by the same, unfortunately,
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
If they change horses, I want a fresh horse too.
All right, next item up, Fontaine.
To ask.
An update on, I think we've covered a lot of the construction stuff, but I mean,
Dave Fontaine with Fontaine Brothers. General construction update. Neil went through a lot of the recent activity, looking forward, kind of like a 3-4 week look ahead. We're getting as much done in the site as we can before it gets into a deep freeze. We're still working in the athletic field, finishing the excavation there and starting to subgrade for that turf field, which we'll be looking to start in the spring.
Excuse me, you've done blasting over there?
I believe it's substantial. Are they still?
Pretty much done.
It's pretty much finished. It's just about the end of
I
it.
haven't received any phone calls from anybody.
That's a good thing. Best blasting is very boring. So we're also going to work on setting the post for the fence around the athletic field in the back. Concrete, we're finishing up the bits and pieces. We're pouring the walk, the ramp inside the cafeteria and finishing what's left inside there. Structural steel, we are completing the steel at the back entrance to the gymnasium there. There's a slight overhang. Miss Meadows is working on miscellaneous stuff and also finishing up stair 1 inside the building. Drywall contractors are working throughout the building. They're going to be moving more into the core and the kitchen. They've started in the classroom wing and worked their way that way. The exterior envelope we're working on tightening up. Like I said, windows are mostly in. Air barrier and caulking, we're finishing up some miscellaneous items. Roofing, we're working on miscellaneous items again. It's primarily tight. Windows are going in. We'll also be looking to start the metal siding during the wintertime. We're working on the furring with some panels, the profiled panels we see showing up in early December. We are also starting ceramic tile on level 1. We'll be working up towards level 2. Ceilings, beginning of next week, we're going to start putting in some grid, and that involves getting the painter in there as well. And then mechanically, fire protection, plumbing, mechanical, and electrical are all ongoing. Schedule-wise, as was noted, we're moving along well. Jamie and Bill from our office are doing a very good job, and the project team has also been very good about getting RFIs and submittals and answers and everything turned around, so it all contributes to it, but we're moving well on schedule. And we've been using targeted overtime money, and we'll continue doing that throughout the course of the project. We've used some on windows, some on roofing to try and get the building tight through the winter, and we'll use it as we go forward on finishes to push those, and we'll ultimately look to finish the classroom wings first, and then basically move our way through the core and into kind of the big open areas as we move towards finishes and completion. So that's where we are schedule-wise.
thank you.
I'd just like to say, we did a walkthrough the other day, and it was unbelievable what accomplishments you guys have made on that school as of now.
Thank
I just want to thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you.
All right, on to everybody's favorite just topics. Approval of invoices and changes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I could, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Skanska invoice number 1311838, PDS 1226632, in the amount of $73,373.94.
Second.
We have a second. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's approved.
If I might, make a motion that we pay Lamb Pagano invoice number 12071410 in the amount of $56,665.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
I'd like to make another motion, Mr. Chairman, that we pay application number 7 to Fontaine Brothers, Inc., dated October 31st, in the amount of $2,982,931.71.
Second.
It has been reviewed by the architect.
Yep, reviewed and signed by the architect. Questions, comments? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote.
And one more, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Briggs Engineering invoice number 74128 in the amount of $2,465.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's approved.
And with reference to the Auburn West Street improvements, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Skanska invoice number 131183810012254 in the amount of $16,295.
Second.
Who figures out these numbers?
It's a lawsuit.
Questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's approved.
Let you read them.
Mr. Chairman, we'll begin with reference to West Street. I make a motion that we pay VHB invoice number 1018995 in the amount of $9,022.75.
Second.
Questions, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's approved.
If I might, Mr. Chairman, is it,
All right, yeah, we asked, the last time we had it out there, the billing from the town on the attorney's costs. I mean, we're going back to get the update. So is that the email that's here? Is-
Yes.
$12,638. There was one invoice from last month that was missing, so that's been added to the package.
Mr. Chairman, is there a simple reason why we don't get the bills from legal services? Because we usually pay bills within 30 days.
Yeah.
But, no.
The bills had accumulated on the town side, but the plan moving forward is that we'll get them on a monthly basis. This is just clearing up what had occurred prior.
No, my point was that should we get the bills directed to us rather than...
We could certainly request that we do so,
well,
and that
it's
way they
not-
come directly
It's
here.
not a problem, then we
Mm.
probably wouldn't be where we are.
Sure,
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't question his invoices.
right. We can look into it. It may be easier that way.
Before Bill gets...
I think it was the last month's the backup that was included was it was hard to read, and it wasn't, and these are put together and a little bit better and more understandable, so.
Don't spend it.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
is this still an ongoing issue? Will we be getting more bills from the attorneys?
You always get bills from
Well,
attorneys.
that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back and covers our, if you remember, we had the masonry bid challenge. There was.
Seems like all of it is. Just have been-
That's all been put behind us. Right, there's nothing more on that. I think that's everything that was on here, it was all related to that issue.
Pretty much.
Yep.
But no job is complete until the lawyer says it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's gonna be, in terms of the West Street stuff, I mean, there is a little bit that we should be seeing shortly with the, going with the easements and everything that were done. You know, you reviewed languages and filings for that and stuff, so there's a little bit more coming from that, but I think for all the lighthouse masonry stuff, we're all done. Okay. So, entertain a motion to put these,
Yeah, up the total, they're all separate.
Well, we haven't voted on that 12,000.
no, we haven't yet, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
we haven't had a motion yet.
Yeah, I was asking for a motion.
We'll wait for Mr. Miller.
I know what he's doing over there.
Oh, Mr. Gross.
No, he's the second guy.
Mr. Casanovich, who I have all the confidence in the world, has summarized these things. There was a cover letter in there.
Yeah,
And if you
I think it
wanna
would be
take
easy
the
enough just to
time
take
and
the,
Going through and adding up all of the yellow markings, which I did, it does come out exactly $12,637.50.
You're making me add that all up, you already knew.
There's a letter in here from Eddie.
yeah, so I think you just go off the email.
Okay, make a motion that we accept the $12,000.
$637.50.
Now you're changing it.
No,
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 no.
no.
That's the-
No, that's what he said.
$37.50.
Okay, $12,637.50 for invoices for legal counsel.
Second that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
one
Yes, sir.
extra question.
Finance committee's gonna get involved.
Yeah, I need bills. Where does this come out of the building?
This isn't in talked about yet.
No, I know that, but where does the lawyer's fees come out?
There's a line item in the budget for legal.
For legal fees?
Yes.
Okay.
$20,000 budget, so there's still a little less than $8,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of paying the $12,637.50 as summarized by Mr. Kazanovich? Aye. All those opposed? It's been approved. Okay. One more back there.
Mr. Chairman, if I might. The Gidry and Platt real estate, before we, do that, because then everybody's going to complete. Do we have any total figures of what these properties are going to cost us? All up.
Yes.
It's about $4,400.
I was gonna say.
It's $4,406,
4,000.
406.
That's what I thought. So we're going to pay $7,700 to find that out. It has been expended. Right?
Want to buy a bridge?
Thank-
We're in the wrong business.
Well, yeah. I've spent enough.
Second quote was double.
The second quote, double this, so. thankfully they came in at this, but yes. Was a necessary evil, it's what you have to do, it's the process you have to go through, so. I mean, part of it is, the reality is probably more than 50% of the land that we're taking is town land. You know, from the Randall School and everything else, so I mean, it's not, you know, that's why.
We're just rearranging existing town land.
Right.
In some areas.
Yeah, and then it's just, you know, it's only, and there's temporary easements on the other side that we're doing, so it's, yeah.
Better pay it before we get a late fee.
Well, that's one of the questions I had, but as far as this invoice, this hasn't been initialed or approved by anyone, as far as I can see. So my
Well-
question is, who was overseeing this and
Scan-
knowing what's happening, what was happening? And this was a fee, I assume, we got up front before it was,
Yes, Skanskas has been overseeing this. They put it out to bid. I think we had 3 different bids at the time.
and we
This is the low.
knew what properties were involved.
Correct.
Okay.
At that time, there was already a plan that was, that VHB had done, highlighting the areas that were needed and the, all the plat numbers and everything else. So, and then they, you know, we put it out to bid for them to do the assessing work on it.
Okay.
Then there was a full report done from them, about 50 or 60 pages long, that put you to sleep in about 2 seconds.
Okay,
but-
so the bottom line is, they knew what the properties were, and they gave us this figure,
Right.
the low figure of $7,700,
Mhm.
and we said, okay, go do it.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one more question?
yes, sir.
I know that officially we can't have our town assessor do any of this, but do they do any backup work on this? Just to get a preliminary figure, just from the town's point of view?
I don't think we did have.
I
one
know
do, but-
officially they can't bid for it or anything like that, but I mean, do they check these figures?
No, we put it out in a public procurement, you know, here's the plan, here's the number of plots. That was low, and I think the other two were around 16 each.
My closing inquiry was the comment that was made down below. It says that we're subject to a 5% late charge if we're late 15 days. This letter was dated October 14th. Today, if I'm not mistaken, is someplace in the middle of November. I'm assuming we're not going to get hit with 5% late charge and then the 1% for each month thereafter.
Yeah, I don't expect that they're told to that. They submitted the invoice shortly after the final report, but they understand that it needs to be paid through the town, so.
Okay.
I think what we had originally discussed was 30 days from the time of the invoice.
Okay.
Bill, our last meeting was the 14th of October. This invoice was dated the 14th.
Yeah.
But
But we're looking at it for the
come
first
to us
time.
until maybe the 16th or 17th.
Yeah, anyway.
So, and we've approved it, certainly, in my opinion, within the time frame that's boilerplate, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but we just want to be
Right.
sure.
Okay.
That would be in the bid specs, wouldn't it? Terms?
Yeah, I don't remember what they are, just about 30 days, I would think. I wouldn't expect them.
It's usually the
$4.
standard.
Well, we're
Okay.
approving that
So,
$7,700.
it's out there for somebody to make a motion on paying this invoice.
Motion to pay Gidry and Platt Real Estate, a sum of $7,700. I don't see a number, PO number, so,
And dated October 14th, 2014.
yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That's approved. All right, let's see. Other items, next meeting. We do need to look at this, mid-December, I would assume. So we stick to the schedule, I think, the 16th,
16th?
which is a Tuesday.
I won't be here on the 16th.
Difficult one on the trip.
Oh, actually, I just want to let you know.
It's the 15th or the...
Keep it up. The 16th, I won't be here.
Okay. So, work for everybody else?
It's okay.
Dr. Brunel, is that all right?
Yes, that's fine, 16th is
Okay.
perfect, thank you.
So, next meeting's December 16th, 7 PM here. Any other items people like to bring up or have discussed for the next time around? Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.